Howdy everyone, Adrian's out to walk behind me. Howdy everyone, my name's Cory. So noisy. Howdy everyone, I'm Cory with Art's Really Cool. Today is the 22nd choo-choo video of the choo-choo train. Come along as I resin some pieces. That's why I've got the gloves on, because resin's sticky and gross and I hate it. Alright, so there is tons of glitter here. There are little gem pieces for some reason. Little gems. Well, I know what it's from in Adrian's live. I don't want glitter in this stuff, but there's already glitter on this painting, so it's just gonna happen. However, I've got two paintings here that I'm gonna resin. They are paintings that I did the background for a picture I took. So there's this one. There's a blemish here, but this is where the picture's gonna go, so that's why it's there. I had to, there was something got there, and I had to like dig it out. But this is that wood piece that I painted on my live the other day. It's still taped on the bottom, but as you can see, the cool bark is exposed because I want to cover that in resin as well, so that it will be solidified and not fall apart, because like there's a loose piece like right here. There's a wiggly, 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 wiggly. Sure. I need to grab a piece of tape really quick to cover the lady's face, because I did not get permission to show her on the YouTube. This is the picture, and I think that it's really cute and nice, and I think it goes really well with this background. So I think it's pretty cool. It's, I think, got good color combos.
I think so too.
The picture still stands out. What I'll do is I'll put blue painter's tape, most likely, on the back of this, and then place it in the center, make sure it's good, press it down real flat, and then just pour the resin over and resin it as though this wasn't here. This will allow for the picture to like kind of become part of the piece, and it'll be groovy. We just had an art show, and I had a piece that I've done with a picture of a puppy that we had fostered, and people were loving the frame, as they would call it, even though it's like a full canvas with a picture on the top. So then I've got this one, and these folks I did get permission to share on social medias, but this is the background for this one. This is a 16 by 20. I think this turned out really well. These are colors that I would never gone for and never really had much of a like desire to do, but
I'm just not into it.
they work really well, especially with that picture. Oh wait, I gotta do the whole, with the magic of editing, I don't know if I do that in Thursday Train. I don't know, with the magic of the train, I'm gonna be standing. Choo-choo! Alright, so magic of the train didn't get me standing. So I'm gonna make the resin. The resin I use is a 1-to-1 ratio, and it's by ounces. And this thing that I'm pouring in is milliliters. So according to ChatGPT, the number of ounces that I need, well, first I used the calculator on their site, but the amount of resin that I need turned into milliliters is about 450. So their calculator always seems to be too much when it comes to the way I resin, I guess. So I'm just gonna do 400. So I'm gonna do 200 of each. I start with the hardener, and I'm just gonna pour it up to the 200 mark. You slow down, you get close. It is important that it's pretty accurate, but it's not, at least in my experience, the end of the world if it is slightly off.
It's the end of the world! No, it's not.
And we are there. Alright, you're done, thank you. And clean that off. Put some glitter in it probably, because Glitter is everywhere in this house now. Never should have bought those. Resin time. Resin time.
Resin time.
You got my little tool to mix. And when you're mixing, Echo, set timer for 5 minutes.
5-minute timer started.
Typically need to do it for, I think they say 5 minutes, 3 or 5 minutes, but really what you're going for is to make sure that there's no striations. I don't know if you can see from the top camera, but I'll try to move. You can see all that, like, it kind of like looks cloudy, or like there's like ribbons in there. I'll show you when it's done. That should be clear. And you got to scrape the bottom and the sides, making sure that you're really getting all of the hardener mixed in with the actual resin to create the chemical composition that you need so that it solidifies and becomes the hard surface that you are going for. I personally try not to go too fast.
Take it slow, Robin. Take it slow.
Because I don't want to put in too many air bubbles. There will still be quite a few by the time I'm done. I know some people like to whip it up, as they say.
Now whip it!
Because it's better to have it fully mixed, is their logic. Then, you know, you can always get rid of the bubbles. Oftentimes you just use a torch and gets rid of them that way. There's debubblers. You can do like one of our friends does and put it on like a warming plate while they mix it. That helps to lessen the amount of bubbles. Heat basically is what kind of helps pop the bubbles. While your resin is setting, you're going to be coming back to it multiple times because bubbles are going to be surfacing throughout the 30 minutes or so before it's kind of solidified, and you're going to need to pop those bubbles so that you don't have little spots all over your resin. You were going for that glass look. I'm not great with getting every air bubble somehow. There's always one or two that sneaks in, but for the most part I can do an alright job. But again, remember, you're scraping the sides and the bottom to get all that hardener and that resin mixed in together. I use this stir tool, so it's mixing while it's in there, and then I'm giving it a little bit more of an oomph by stirring with my hand as well. I do stir both ways, which I think creates some more air bubbles, but I am for sure trying to make sure it's nice and mixed. And I'm just using a silicone pitcher thing, so the resin will come out of it. Even if there's some left in it and it gets hard, it'll come out really easy. Pretty sure I've got most of the ribbons or the striations away, but now I just go for the count of the timer. And I use this stirring tool because stirring for this long with just my hand to really get it mixed properly, like I've got old man hands already.
I'm so old.
But like it hurts like I have old man mouth too because I said. Oh, you're gonna bleep it so they think that I cursed? Then I'll have young man mouth. That sounds gross. It sounded gross when I said old man mouth, but sometimes I feel like it's not stirring fast enough personally, but it's a cordless resin mixer pro. I got it to mix paint initially, but it does this too slow. With paint, I really do aggressive mixing because I'm really trying to make sure that Floetrol. Excuse me, I was talking. Rude. Echo. That's rude. Yeah, it didn't have anything to say because it knows it was rude. Oh, how dare it. Echo. Dismiss. So now I pull it out and I leave the stirring thing on for a little bit so it like whips a little bit of extra resin off, and then you have to clean your tool of resin right after. You can't let it sit, and you have to be thorough, otherwise the resin could harden on it and it like messes it up, and then pieces could like flake off when you're stirring or doing other things, and it just makes for a miserable experience, and then it can ruin your tool. I'm taking this time to allow some of the bubbles to come to the top, so if you can see it from the above camera, you can already see there's lots and lots of bubbles, but they will slowly dissipate because they all rise to the top and then get rid of them that way. But there you go. Oh, it's time to stand. Magic of editing. Woo, I'm standing. Alrighty. Hopefully you guys can see this. So I made little rolled tape so that I can just put it on here. I'm only going to do 2 one on the upper corner and one on a lower corner. And hopefully my glove didn't make it too not sticky. But I don't want to do too much because I don't want the tape to raise up the picture. So now we got to get it centered. Make sure we got the right direction, because I think, yeah, I like it like this. I think this is centered. We have a tape measure we can check. Basically exactly centered. Yeah, that is essentially centered.
I am a pro, buddy. A real pro.
So then I just push it down. Okay. So I'm very curious about how this is gonna work, because the bark one, like, it's gonna get bark dust in my hand. So like the last thing I'm gonna do is start brushing off onto the bark. But here you can see the bubbles are starting to concentrate even more. All right, so now what we do is we just start in the center. Adrian's gonna have to blur the lady's face if he shows that angle. And I'm just gonna pour it on here and make sure I get enough to go around, and then take it off. And I think it's a 45-minute working time with this resin. So from the moment it's been mixed to 45 minutes from then is how long I can play with it, basically. I need to make sure that I do both of these paintings in that amount of time, or else
It's the end of the world.
it will start activating and then I can't use it anymore. But I'm just getting off the edges. So you start from the middle, kind of work your way out. This resin is self-leveling. Most resin is self-leveling, I think. Or at least most two-part resin is. I said that really weird.
You're weird. I like that.
But you just push it towards the edge and like kind of off the edge. Now I'm trying to get to the edges of the bark. Like I said, I'm not going to be able to like touch the actual picture section once I start doing the bark, because I'm going to have pieces on my glove. So all right, I do feel like I'm going to need a little bit more for the bark area, so I'm just going to do that. I've left the tape underneath the painting because it needs to, yeah, see, look at all of that. Okay, so I need to not touch the painting again. Sorry, this is taking a lot of concentration. Try not to get droplets or crumbs or whatever you want to call it.
How about both?
All right, so we're going to move this out of the way.
Get out the way, get out the way, get out the way.
And then bring this in. Okay, and now we're gonna go for it. And I'm essentially gonna just use all of this. So I'm just gonna pour it all. And everything I have ever seen says on two-part resin, do not scrape the sides after you've mixed it. So like, letting this run out is fine, but I should not go in and like scrape all that sides off, because that could be
The end of the world.
just hardener or just resin, not the combo, and that could be a problem. Either part of those parts creates bad reactions that you don't want. And then I just use my hands to rub it on, of course. And as you can see, that's what I've been doing. This is gonna be, hope I have enough. I'm gonna be very sparing with this. And then when you use your hand, you can feel whether or not you've missed a spot, because your hand will catch. Because when it's got resin on it, it should be fairly smooth to run over with your hand. And my plan on this one, if you can see the sides of it, I don't know if you can or not, but they're not finished. I'm gonna actually frame this one because I like it so much. Normally I would have finished the sides, but in the case of this one, I decided I would rather have it professionally framed. Now we do the torch part. So you literally just run a torch over your whole painting, and this is popping the air bubbles. Hopefully you can see some of them popping.
No, but I believe it.
You gotta be careful on this wood one not to set it on fire. And I gotta be careful of the picture, obviously, make sure I don't accidentally burn the photo. Okay, and then I just look at it from an angle. You can tell I'm definitely gonna need to torch these several times. There's so much glitter in this one already. All right, so then I'm just going to cover this. And then cover the big one. Okay, echo set timer for 5 minutes. I'll be coming back to these every 5 minutes for the next 15 or 20 minutes to pop air bubbles and clear anything out of it that may have gotten in it. So
1 hour later.
alright, here is the wet version showing you after all. You can't really see much of anything, but this after a few rounds of torching and trying to get any bubbles out. Already a lot more vibrant because of the resin, but it's pretty cool. The other one is over here, but I'm not gonna take it out just because it's way over there, but it looks pretty cool, I have to say. Hopefully Adrian can blur out the person's face. The wood looks really cool. So, alright, up next is the dry version. Alright, so here are the completed versions. Well, kind of. I need to redo them, touch them up a little bit. There's a couple of spots on these pictures that you can't see in the camera, which is nice, but that didn't solidify properly, like it pulled away from the edge. You can see it better over here, right there. So I need to redo it, but otherwise I think I love them. Of course, got a little identity concealer right there, but I think that they turned out really great. I had these at a couple shows and people have reacted quite favorably to them and been wanting them for their own pictures, which kind of defeats the purpose of me doing it for my photography. But hey, it's the art business is getting some business, and that is fine by me. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Bye.